Good morning. My name is David Turner, Mayor of the City of Odessa. I just wanted to get on Facebook this morning and give an update on what's going with the community. A lot of work has been going behind the scenes to make sure that our city is equipped if the coronavirus shows up. Let me start off by kind of establishing the structure. Right now, because this is a health emergency, the Ector County Health Department is in charge. They're in charge of testing. They are in charge of this operation as we move forward. But we've also partnered with them to be able to support them. They're the ones that are having to do the test. They're the ones that are having to put out the numbers of positive viruses. And a lot of questions have been asked on why aren't we putting out the number of tests that have been run on citizens. One of the reasons that has not been done to this point is simply to help control fear. If I came out one day and said, well, we've run so many tests, it could actually start people to panic. So we are going to continue working with the health department. They're doing a fantastic job. They have a very difficult job at this point. Let me kind of touch on what to do if you think you have the virus. Many people went on spring break, they've traveled, they may have been exposed there. I talked to some citizens yesterday that went to Crested Butte, which has had a large outbreak. What you need to do is first call your own physician. They are going to ask you some questions. Have you been in contact with somebody that's been confirmed? Are you running a fever? Do you have a cough? And they're going to try to filter the different type of illnesses before they go to a coronavirus test. First, we want to make sure you don't have the flu. The flu symptoms are very similar to the coronavirus symptoms. Also, everything in town is blooming. Many of us have allergies. We want to make sure it's not just allergies that are affecting it. Once they decide you need to go to the testing center is at the Medical Center Clinic over on 42nd by Burger King, right there by Permian. What they're going to do is ask you some questions also. Ask you many of the same questions. Then, if they deem that you need to be tested, you will be tested. Now, if you're tested, what happens after that? The tests are being sent to Lubbock and to Dallas. Those tests are taking between 2 and 3 days to get results. Those labs are only open on the weekdays, so if it's over the weekend, it could take even longer. Those labs have been approved by the CDC and the state of Texas to run the test for coronavirus. Once we get the results back, if it's negative, then nothing else happens. If it is positive at the lab, it is called a presumptive positive. It is not a declared positive until it goes to the CDC, and they are the ones that have the final test. Once that happens, then the health department has to know about this case. They have to know about each case that is in the city. Many people are saying on Facebook, well, we've heard there's a confirmed case here. We've heard that there's cases here. Those aren't confirmed cases, and they're just rumors. Many of the things you're seeing on Facebook about some of the other cities having it, if you do not hear it through a trusted news source, it is just rumors. Unfortunately, social is great for some things, but unfortunately in times like this, it can be a detriment. I know many people right now are scared. What we're suggesting is if you have an illness or your family member has an illness that lives with you, please quarantine for 14 days. The reason is we do not want somebody who is ill. Maybe you have a child that is ill. We don't want you being a carrier and going out in the community infecting the rest of the people. So those are some of the steps. Any more questions as far as testing, where do I go, any of that kind of stuff needs to be directed to the health department. They are in charge of the show at this point. I want to get you up a little bit on the city, what we are doing to make sure you are taken care of. The fire department and police departments have dealt with diseases like this, whether it was SARS, whether it was the Ebola scares, things like that. They have plans in place. At this point, we're working with them to make sure we keep our staff at the acceptable levels, because many of those will can get exposed. So we're making sure they have the equipment that they need to protect themselves and ultimately to protect you. Because one of our most important jobs as elected officials, whether it be at the hospitals, the schools, or anything, is our public health and safety of our citizens. Talk a little bit about the services that the city provides. We're in charge of water, we're in charge of sewer. All those services are being taken care of and will not see any interruption in service. There may be adjustments to staffing levels if we get diagnosed cases of coronavirus, to make sure that we have the key people into place to make sure the water plant is functioning, make sure the sewer plant is functioning, making sure that we have people that can fix water lines if we have a water line break. Talk a little bit about municipal court. Municipal court has been shut down. That is simply for your safety. We do not want you reporting for jury duty. If somebody in the room is sick, then you are exposed. So if you need to pay a ticket, you're welcome to pay online. And once the crisis is over, municipal court will open back up for jury duties and to handle cases. Talk a little bit about the hospitals. The hospitals are doing a fantastic job. Met with both CEOs. They have a tough row to hoe because they are dealing with a lot of sickness, a lot of people that are convinced they have coronavirus when they don't. They have taken some steps. There is limited visitation. Visitation is between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and only one person is allowed to go in. I know sometimes that's difficult if you have a sick person in the hospital, but it is for the safety of the health of the citizens themselves. The schools, need to watch the press for what the schools are doing. Right now, they are looking at whether schools will be opened back up, but I'm sure the superintendent will make any decisions public when those are made. Talking about a couple of organizations in our community that really need your help. If you're interested in donating money to help, two organizations, the Salvation Army, they take care of the Salvation Army Center with many of our homeless. They are being pressed as far as gloves, sanitizers, and things like that. Many of these organizations have a very small budget. Anything you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. Another organization that's doing a fantastic job is our food bank. I talked to the director yesterday. It looks like they may be putting out in excess of about 6,000 food boxes a month. Those food boxes are going to the elderly that need food, that can't get out. They also have a drive-through system where you can drive in, pick up a box of food, and take it with you. School districts also continuing to feed our kids. Many kids would not eat if it wasn't for the school meals. So they are being able to drive up to the schools, get breakfast, come back at lunch, get lunch. And so we really appreciate the school district for everything they're doing. In the next few days, you may hear about myself be declaring a state of emergency. This is nothing to panic about. In a time of crisis, the statute gives the mayor the power to set rules for the community, same as we do when we issue an ordinance. Many of these will be just common sense: continue to wash your hands, continue social distancing, and protect yourself from the virus. So this could be happening, may happen today, may happen later this week. Just a note from me to all the citizens. We've been through tough times before. We've been through the ups and the downs of the oil industry. We've been through August 31st. We will get through this. We're a strong and resilient people. We're people of faith. And with the dear Lord's help, a lot of prayer, we are going to get through this. It is a scary time right now with the stock market going crazy, with everything you hear on the media about coronavirus and the worst cases. If you're starting to get a little bit depressed, take a day off from the national news. Take a day off Facebook. Watch a movie with your family. Go for a walk around the block. Spend some time with family and the ones you love. We are going to get through this. I will be continuing to do Facebook Lives on a regular basis just to help you make sure you know all of the information. My prayers are that every one of you are safe and healthy, and with the good Lord's help, we'll get through this. Thank you very much.